Boris Johnson could be forced to rewrite the withdrawal agreement with the EU in order to stop food shortages in Northern Ireland, a prominent Brexit-backing lawyer has warned. Martin Howe QC said a solution needed to be identified urgently, with labels for items scheduled to arrive on January 1 needing to be printed weeks in advance. All eyes are currently on the Internal Market Bill, which would give the government the power to override certain aspects of the Northern Ireland Protocol, and which Prime Minister Boris Johnson insists is necessary to protect the integrity of the UK. However, Mr. Howe, chairman of Lawyers for Britain, said the proposed legislation did nothing to solve the labelling problem, which he suggested the government may need to introduce another bill to deal with. He told Express, "It's probably not the most interesting area of law, but on the other hand if it goes wrong it could create very serious problems." Apparently the people involved in goods labeling think that the regulations will require, as from January 1, different labels on goods according to the UK law, from goods sold according to EU law. It's to do with things like the EU requiring to have the name and address of someone in the EU who is responsible for the goods, that sort of thing. The problem is, and it may sound a totally trivial thing, under the law, if you've got a packet of frozen chips, for example, you are not allowed to sell them in the EU and therefore you would not be able to sell them in Northern Ireland. So if you are a supermarket which has a supply chain across the whole of the UK, what do? Mr. Howe was the only non-MP on the so-called Star Chamber which offered crucial legal advice to the European Research Group on the backstop arrangements for Northern Ireland contained within Theresa May's draft withdrawal agreement last year. He said, "One fears that as from January 1 you would have to have completely separate supply chains just for labelling reasons. What about the time needed to make the changes and reprint the labels and so on?